Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Phoebe. I almost didn't film this video because I wrote the outline for it like a week ago, and then this morning I woke up and I saw pretty much the exact same video concept on YouTube, and it was a video by Ash Callahan, who I just discovered on YouTube, and I'm obsessed with her. I've only watched a couple videos, but I know her video on this topic is going to be awesome. I have held myself back from watching it because I already had my points written and I didn't want to get in my head about if they're too similar or whatever. I didn't want to like have in my head what she says. So I haven't watched her video yet, but I'm sure it's amazing. So if you aren't subscribed to Ash Callahan, go watch her video first. And without further ado, I'm going to jump into my suggestions for where you can get fashion inspiration that isn't Pinterest or Instagram. My first suggestion, which I have mentioned in a previous video before, is to have a look at fashion magazines and like fashion coffee table books or fashion photography books. A few months ago, I was at the hair salon, and I actually hate being on my phone at the hair salon for some reason. I like to just disconnect and relax. So I grabbed a magazine that they had. It was like, I think Vogue Australia or something. And I was flipping through and I found so much good inspiration. There were obviously certain designers that I just like didn't like any of what I was seeing, but I was just so inspired and refreshed compared to everything that I see on Pinterest. And it's not that there's anything wrong with Pinterest outfits. I get inspired by Pinterest all the time still, but it was so refreshing to see like true classic fashion that's not styled in such a chronically online way. I feel like online fashion these days is so all about like juxtaposition, mixing athletic wear with super feminine frilly blouses, wrong shoe theory, and kitten heels with casual pants and blah blah blah. There's lots of fun juxtaposition online, but I feel like that's all I've been seeing lately. And all of the looks in this magazine felt so classic and just made sense in a way that was really refreshing and inspiring. One of the looks that I was the most inspired by was something that I feel like I would never see on Instagram or Pinterest, at least in 2024. It was a Ralph Lauren look that was dark skinny jeans with cowgirl boots, a white ribbed tank top, and a cowgirl hat. The epitome of just a cowgirl uniform, and I feel like outfits that make that much sense aren't online these days. And it really inspired me to just step into my own style intuition and remember kinds of outfits and things that I would put together if I weren't chronically online. The next place that I think is super fun to get inspo is from TV shows, like just sitcoms. Specifically, I think if you love a certain decade of fashion, choose a sitcom from that decade. One of the most popular ones, and I think you know I'm going to say this, is Friends. If you love 90s and early 2000s fashion, Friends is so inspiring. Their costume designer really nailed it with all three women. And the reason I get so inspired from the styling on Friends is because I think that when we tend to look back on past decades fashion, we attribute a really like costumey look. We think of all of the cliches from that decade and just assume that every outfit was like that. Whereas a lot of the outfits you see on Friends, if you wore them now, nobody would bat an eye. Nobody would point them out and say that is so 90s or so early 2000s fashion. So many of them are just so simple and classic and timeless. And so I think that it'll forever be a great way to get style inspiration because, again, these are outfits that just make sense. They are meant to look super wearable because you're supposed to believe in these characters and believe that they're in their daily life. And so their outfits are a good mix of like really well done because, you know, this is supposed to be an appealing sitcom with like cool people living in New York, blended with really normal, classic, everyday wearable fashion. Next place you can get inspo is from your mom or your grandma or any of your older family members. I thought of this when I was in my childhood home a couple weeks ago looking through our photo albums, and I was so inspired by some of the things my mom was wearing. And I don't know if she would have considered herself to be super stylish for the times, but I would kill to have some of the clothes that she was wearing. And even though I don't, I can take inspiration from that when I'm thrifting or just when I'm styling pieces together. That gave me so many ideas for how to style pieces and kind of just hammered in my head that dressing really simply can be really good. And you don't always have to, you know, add juxtaposition and trendy things into your outfits to make them good, which is kind of the theme of this whole video. I'm realizing that getting inspiration from places other than Pinterest and Instagram will just help you step into a style that's not chronically online. I also love to get inspiration from my mom and grandma today, not just from photos from when they were my age, but from what they're wearing today. Because again, it's another thing of like, they're not chronically online, they're not in the online fashion world, so they're not thinking about that. They're just styling outfits completely intuitively and selecting things that they believe look good together without trying to recreate something they saw somewhere or without the idea of getting an Instagram photo in mind. They're just another good example of intuitive styling. The next place you can get inspo is from your imagination. And by that, I don't just mean relying on your own brain to imagine up an outfit without recreating it from somewhere else. What I mean is put on your imagination hat, close your eyes, romanticize your life, picture your highest, most happy self, and try to figure out what would they want to wear. I feel like people always give the advice of like, you're not going to be a different person on vacation, so don't buy a new wardrobe. Like, don't assume that you're going to dress different on vacation. Like, you're just going to dress how you always dress. So just pack what you always wear, blah, blah, blah. And I could not disagree more because I think that sucks all the fun out of it. If you're in a style funk, I think you should do the exact opposite and imagine what you would want to dress like on vacation in the most beautiful environment you can think of, your happiest self, not a care in the world. How would you want to dress there? And then see if that is an outfit or a style that can work in your daily life. Sometimes picturing ourselves in our same old daily routines stifles our creativity and makes us feel like it's not worth it to put effort into our outfits. Next place you can get inspo is scrolling through old photos of yourself. I feel like just as trends come back around in a cycle, your own preferences also come back around. If you loved a certain style when you were younger and maybe you wore it to death and you got sick of it, and then a couple years later you look back on it and it makes you cringe, if you just keep on waiting and keep on waiting, I guarantee there's going to be some part of that style that you enjoy again. And by looking at old photos, I literally mean look at photos of what you wore when you were 6 years old. There was a photo of me at a dude ranch that we used to go to in just classic bootcut blue denim, cowgirl boots, and a brown tank top. And that simple outfit inspired me so much, and I would wear that exact outfit again today. I understand you're probably not going to get inspired by things you wore a few years ago because you're still in the phase where you're sick of them. If you look back far enough, I have a feeling you could get some inspiration and it can remind you of what you intuitively liked when you were younger before maybe you were sucked into Pinterest and Instagram. The last place I think you can get style inspiration is from brands that you like. How do they style their pieces together? If there's a brand that you love, you probably will like how they style their things together too. You obviously don't have to buy all the pieces in those outfits, but you can still get inspiration from how they style them. If you just bought a top from a brand you love, look back and see what they styled that top with. You might have similar pants or a similar skirt or whatever in your closet. And like I said, if you admire a designer's fashion sense, you probably will get inspiration from how they choose to style their things together as well. Let me know if you have any other ideas in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to. And with that, I'll see you in a few days with another fun one. Bye guys.